Welcome back to the garage. Today we have this 1960s John Deere 2020. We bought some horses and started doing hay this year. Uh, my dad bought this tractor to make it easier on us doing hay. It's bigger than all the other tractors that we have. It's about 65 horsepower. We got new tires on the back. I changed all the fluids when we first got it, and when I changed the hydraulic fluid out, the transmission fluid, there was a bunch of needle bearings that fell out. So that tells me I need to do something with this rear end. I need to get in there to figure out where the bearing is gone from. And also, while I was doing hay, pulling the baler and a wagon behind it, if I put it in any high gear, it slips the clutch. So it needs a clutch, and the rear main seal on the engine is leaking oil fairly bad, like a drip every 10 seconds. That's bad enough that I want to change it. So I'm going to be, I got to tear this thing in half anyways, probably to replace that bearing, that needle bearing that I believe is for the mid PTO. So while I got this all apart, I'm just going to go through it. I'm going to do a new rear main seal, new clutch, figure out where those bearings are gone from. All right, we're going to start this whole job by taking the rock shaft cover off, and that is this right here. So to be able to do that, I have to pull this. This is 4 bolts. The 2 long ones go in the front, the 2 short ones go in the back. I'm going to get this off, and then I'm going to take the seat bolts off, pop that off. And then here in the back, I'm going to have to disconnect the rock shaft or the arm lengths from both sides, and that'll just be pulling this, sliding that out, and then both of these are going to have to come off to be able to lift it off. So I will disconnect them from the manifold right there, and then all of this will be out of the way. This will be out of the way, and then we'll take the top cover off. So let me go ahead and do some of those. All right, I got the cover off. I left those on because it's cold out, and those are hard to remove right now. So that covers off. The seat is loose. The rock shaft arms are disconnected and down. I'll go ahead and pull the seat off. We're getting down there. Now I'm going to go ahead and take all of the hydraulic outputs, all those lines loose and off. Okay, so I got this left side remote loose. It's both of those. These are both spinning, so it's going to be extra complicated. This took way longer than I thought. I smacked all of these with a hammer. I sprayed them down real well because they were, if this moves and this doesn't, it binds up the line. So you have to get this to move separately from that to be able to get this off. You can't just, if this starts moving, you can't just back it off because it'll mess up this line. So I might end up making a special, I'm sure there's a special socket that slips over those, but I don't have it. So I'm going to figure something out. To get this lower one here, I put this pry bar here between between this coupling and that coupling, and held that just like that, and it came loose. Inboard one right here, I literally just put a screwdriver right there to put a screwdriver right in here to hold tension on that, and it broke loose too. So I'll take those off. Okay, got all 4 off. Before I put this back together, I'm probably going to replace the seals. I'm sure there's an O-ring behind these, so I'm going to see if I can get O-rings for that. But I'll go ahead and pull these remotes off of here. All right, the rest of these bolts out. If I can loosen this up and maybe scooch this sideways, I don't know. All right. Get the Kubota, with the forks on it, we're ready to pick up on this. That's pulling up all right. It's just a flexible hose, so I'm okay with that. Okay, so it's slightly bound up on this little lever right here. I put that lever all the way down, and then it's going to be able to make it across there. All the gears that I can see look good. So the next step to splitting this, I believe, is I'm gonna have to take this top plate off, and there's some things under here I believe that have to come off for the shifter rods here before it can slide apart. That'll be next. Little update, I got the hydraulic fluid drained, and I went and took the floorboards off. Now this side, there's one here and one right there that takes this side off, and the other side there are actually 3 bolts that hold it on. One there behind the clutch pedal, and one there behind the diff lock. And I took the exhaust off also, just because it's in the way. You might have one that comes out of the side or out of the top here. Mine doesn't. So, all right, next step. Okay, this is more for the clutch part of it. You're not gonna need this to do the back. Well, actually, this is not for the clutch. I need to move this whole thing back, so I need to disconnect these. And here are the wires that come out of this. There's one goes to here, one down to there that comes up to here. These are all backlighting and things. Okay, and these top ones just disconnect separately. So now this can come out of there, and we can separate the back. I'm gonna pull the batteries next. All right, I removed the side panels so I could have access to the batteries to get all of this out of the way, because when I go to do the clutch, I'm gonna need this stuff out of the way. Maybe I don't, but I want it out of the way. So the side panels come off. There's a bolt here, bolt here, bolt here, bolt here, one here. You pull out, lift up, and they come off. And then this just lifts out. It's held on by a spring right there. So now I'm pulling the batteries out. This is a 24 volt system, so it has negative on the back, positive on the front. It goes positive to that, and then straight over to the next battery. So 24 volts. I have this all apart. So we're getting there. All right, now I got the batteries out. Now I'm going to take this assembly off, but first I have to take the hood off. I'll take the side panels off, take the bolt out on each side. You got to take these side panels off, which they just pull out and then unsnap from here. And then you drop this. This holds it in. You drop this down, and then you can lift it up. Okay, so to get this assembly here off, I have to take the steering wheel off because it lifts out of there. Steering wheel stuck on. I tried pry bars, all kinds of stuff. Doesn't want to come out, so I opted for this. So you'll see. And there it goes. 5-ton puller. I'll put I'll show you the part number. Part number 57078. I have it set up so it's just 2 instead of 3. 3 wouldn't fit as well. Okay, the tack is connected right in there, as you can see. And it goes up to that. So we're gonna have to pull that. Get that loose. It should come out now. I'll move it out of the way. All right, now I'm going to take that shifter cover off. I have most of the bolts out already. Okay, and then these two came out earlier because I had to get the wires from underneath this. Ah, there's a bolt under there, under this selector lever. Okay. There we go. Just stuck on because of these pipes that come up into it. So just give it a nice gentle pry. Huh. Look at this. That's something from somewhere. Maybe that's where the needle bearings came from, wherever this is from. I'll set this aside. All right, so I'm prepping to split the tractor. You saw everything I did to this point. I made some of these. This is just 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch box beam. And I put some wheels on the bottom of it, welded some wheels on both sides so I don't have to worry about it. I'm not a tractor mechanic, so I'm not going to use this setup again unless it's for this, pretty much. But it should be good. I did jack up the front. I just took a little bit of the pressure off the front wheels, so when I put that together, it will have a slight amount of pressure on the wheels already, so it should be perfect to slide in and out. So now I'm going to take the bolts out around it and put a jack behind the back, and we'll try to split it. All right, all the bolts are out. There are a handful of longer bolts. These longer bolts, there's actually 3 sizes. There's these, with this shoulder, they go here and there and there. And then the shorter bolts, this length, go on the inside here, right here, and there. And then all the rest with no shoulder go in these locations here and on the other side opposite of that, and then the 3 on the bottom. So this is technically, all of these are out, so it should split. It does have a gasket surface holding it together. So I do have the jack under the back half, and I have my little trolley set up under the front here. So I'm going to go ahead and put you on a tripod. I'm really frustrated with this thing. I looked all over it. I don't have any bolts still holding it. Like, I've done everything I could think of. I mean, I had a screwdriver jammed in on this side as far as I could get it. Nothing was working. I was rocking this. I had this whole side of the tractor lifted up. I had this whole side of the tractor lifted up, and I was dropping it like 3 inches, just trying to jar this loose, and nothing at all was working, and it was getting super frustrating. So I didn't know what else. Like, there's this little bolt down in here. I loosened that up. It still didn't do any good for me. So what I did was thinking, like, maybe this seal, I mean, this is a 60-year-old tractor. Maybe this seal is holding it so tight that it's just holding it together with no bolts. And in fact, so I took a sledgehammer and I started tapping. You could see the marks. I just started smashing all the way around, and now it's starting to come apart. So I'm going to reset where my jack location is in the back, and then try to get this. Well, actually, I'm going to let the front down, because I have right now I have the front jacked up in the air and the back also supported. But this is the only way I could get it to do anything, is to put that strange amount of tension on it. So but now it's, you see that, like, I let that down, now that gap closed up, but we might be able to, yes, all right, now it's starting to move. So you know, there was nothing left on it, it just needed a good smack with the sledgehammer. So let's go ahead and split it. I just used my Ranger to pull the front of the tractor away. And yeah, here we are. There's a bunch of needle bearings right there. And this shaft is supposed to still be in there, I believe. But that's okay. There are a bunch of needle bearings right there. And this little deal, wonder where this came from. Well, those needle bearings look intact. I wonder if they're supposed to be. Alright, well, you see the needle bearings that I'm seeing and the other things that I'm seeing. So there's a chunk of stuff right there. There's a chunk of stuff right there. Here's all these little bearings on the ground. It being up front leads me to believe that it's from up here, obviously. So I'll have to get in the parts manual and see what needle bearings are up here, because I believe there's only one set, and it looks like those ones are good, if that is the one that we're looking at. Alright, so I'm looking around a little more, and it looks like those are needle bearings also. No, those are just teeth. Not needle bearings there. Well, so this section only goes from here to there. So the needle bearings have to be in this section. There's just all this shrapnel. It's got to come out of here somewhere. So Need to look into that.